At the height of the pandemic, global trade was at its lowest point in recent years. With that meant the flow of vital goods around the globe was stopped for a brief time. One of the areas of trade hit the hardest was electronics, especially semiconductors. This led to a renewed effort to grow semiconductor manufacturing in the US.
And there's been a big push for increasing manufacturing in the United States. And I think they saw that semiconductor manufacturing is one place where we could quickly jump ahead.
The country was already on the path back to creating their own factories, including an Intel plant being built in Ohio and a Micron plant built in Syracuse.
The United States has the knowledge to manufacture chips. It's just that it's more like a labor issue. Like we don't want to build plants here because they're expensive to maintain, expensive to run. There's also hazardous materials typically involved with manufacturing semiconductors. There's a lot of water usage. A lot of times in other countries, this is not strictly regulated. So it's cheaper to build the manufacturing plants in these other countries.
However, there's a fear that China and other countries may begin limiting the export of critical materials needed to produce semiconductors in the United States. This is where Dr. Musho and his team plan to help the Department of Defense in their mission to recycle used electronics.
Using a new approach where we basically heat the e-waste up very rapidly into a very hot temperature, and we evaporate, so basically form a gas of these materials, and we collect that gas.
The team aims to collect these raw materials in safer and more efficient ways. This process also allows them to collect materials that are higher purity.
One thing they're pushing is this idea of point of disposal. Potentially this technology could be very small. You can move it around. If you look at these other processes, these are huge plants, very large, like a steel making operation, where ours potentially very small.
This new process would allow them to go to e-waste sites around the country and start recycling on the spot. This also means communities would be indirectly supporting US manufacturing by recycling old electronics into usable materials.
I think to actually see this thing used by the DoD would kind of be the ultimate goal. You could see them use this thing on their e-waste, and then beyond that, seeing it used just for consumer electronics, or maybe just integrated into the process for recycling consumer electronics.
In addition to the commercial possibilities, Musho thinks this can also help make the world a cleaner place by limiting the amount of e-waste in landfills. In Morgantown, West Virginia, I'm Maxwell Ionno.